الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين صدق الله العظيم. Respected ulama kiram and my dear young friends, the last ayat that we mentioned and which we went through was إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب بشره بمغفرة وجه كريم. That only those people will take heed who follow the teachings, the guidance, وخشي الرحمن بالغيب, and who fear Rahman without seeing him. So for these people, فبشرهم, give them the glad tidings of forgiveness and bountiful provisions. In this ayat, Mufassirin mention a point that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَخَشِيَ الرَّحْمَنَ بِالْغَيْبِ, and they feared Rahman without seeing him. But usually the word for fear is qaf. Fear is qaf and khashyat is a different thing. But when fear is mentioned, then the appropriate attribute that could have been mentioned could have been al-qahhar or al-muntaqim. For example, وَخَشِيَ الْمُنْتَقِمْ بِالْغَيْبِ or وَخَشِيَ الْقَهَّارُ بِالْغَيْبِ, that who fears qahhar, the all-prevailing, وَخَشِيَ الْمُنْتَقِمْ, the avenger, the being that takes revenge, punishes you for your wrong. So khashyat, fear, comes when an attribute is used which shows fear. But how come Allah says, وَخَشِيَ الرَّحْمَنَ بِالْغَيْبِ? Rahman is mercy. So, and he fears Ar-Rahman, the most merciful, without seeing him. So ulama says it looks like there is no apparent connection here. That you fear somebody who's very merciful. So ulama give the answer that khashyat is the highest form of fear. And this fear is not that fear that you run from somebody. This khashyat is that fear is when you recognize somebody. You have recognition of somebody. Imagine a young person, he's scared of somebody in the street because he's very strengthful. So this is fear. But you get to know this person, and this person is very merciful, he's very truthful, he's a person that you can trust, he's a pious person. So now you got recognition of this person. Before you only looked at his strength, he's very strong. If I mess with him, if I go on the wrong side of him, he's going to finish me off. But now you got to know him, you became friends with him, and you see he's got piety in his life. He's a trustworthy person. He's a truthful person. He's a generous person. He's a person of high character, good morals. So these are all different types of akhlaq that you have recognized. Now you fear losing him as a friend. But why do you fear losing him as a friend? Because you're scared of him? No. Because you have recognized that I can't lose such a being. This person is so valuable. He's a trust. How many trustworthy, truthful, generous, pious friends can you get? I can't lose this person. So khashyat is on the basis of recognition. That a person recognizes Allah. Allah is merciful, the most compassionate, the sustainer, Razik, Khalik, He's my creator. So when a person gets to know Allah and he recognizes his attributes, then now he will have fear in him. That I don't want to lose such an Allah. I am so lucky to have an Allah who is my Allah. He's a Razik, He's a Khalik, He's Qahar, He's Wahhab, He's everything. So now, this fear that you have inside, after recognition, what's this fear called? This is called khashyat. So Allah subhanahu is saying, إِنَّمَا تُنذِرُ مَنْ اتَّبَعَ الذِّكْرَ, whoever follows guidance. So when you follow guidance, when you follow the Quran, when you follow the Hadith, when you follow the sayings of Rasulullah, daily what are you getting? You are getting that extra recognition of Allah, extra recognition of Allah, extra recognition of Allah. So when you get that extra recognition of Allah, now will you fear Him, meaning run away from Him? Or will you fear that I can't lose Allah like this? I'm so lucky to have such a merciful Allah. So ulama said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, وَخَشِيَ الرَّحْمَنَ بِالْغَيْبِ, that he fears Rahman without seeing him. And then the next ayat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّا نَحْنُ نُحْيِي الْمَوْتَى, that verily only we will revive the dead. وَنَكْتُبُ مَا قَدَّمُوا, and we will record. We are writing, we are recording. وَنَكْتُبُ مَا قَدَّمُوا, what they are putting forward, what they are putting forth. وَآثَارَهُمْ, and what they left behind. وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ, and everything is recorded, enumerated in a clear book. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the previous ayat, He mentioned that those people who who lend an attentive ear to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who listen to a guidance, then they will get khashyat in their heart. This khashyat will bring iman into their heart, and they will become believers. And after they become believers, what will happen? Allah says, give them the glad tidings of maghfirat and a bountiful provision in Jannat. So this is for the believers. And in other ayats of the Quran we find, Man amila salim min dhakin untha wa mu'min فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً, that whoever, male or female, man amila salim min dhakar, who is pious, who does a'mal of piety, or mu'minun, whilst he is a believer, فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً, we will give a very easy life, very comfortable life, a very good life, a fruitful life. And in the hereafter there is so much for them. And on the other hand, in the previous ayat, those people that did not accept the call of Rasulullah, that did not listen to what Rasulullah was saying, in fact they tried to disgrace Rasulullah. In fact they tried to take mockery of the Quran. Allah says, لَقَدْ حَقَّ الْقَوْلُ عَلَىٰ أَكْثَرِهِمْ فَهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ, that these people, the majority of them, are not going to accept Iman. And for those people, Allah says, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي, those people who turn away from my nasiyat, from my Quran, those people who turn a face from my nasiyat, my Quran, وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكَ, then we will give them a very depressed life, a life full of tightness, depressing life. وَنَحْشُرُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى, and we will resurrect them on the day of Qiyamah in a state of blindness. So Allah SWT has given two different sides. Those who bring Iman, for them is a life filled with ease, comfort. And those who turn away from Allah SWT, for them is a life of depression. But sometimes we see that whilst living in this life, a believer might go through some difficulties, some temporary hardships, some difficulty in terms of sustenance. He's having a bit of a difficult life, some trials upon him. And you might also see that a disbeliever, he has a very easy life. His abundance in money, abundance in wealth, a comfortable life. So sometimes people might get a bit confused. So Allah SWT is saying that Inna nahnu nuhil mauta. Don't worry. This life is not everything. This life is not the end of everything. In fact, the real life will start after you die. And those disbelievers who did not live a life where they believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the moment their eyes close, then difficulties will start on them. As soon as the moment they die, the moment they see the Malikul Maut come, that's the end of their happiness. And those believers, in case they had a bit of a difficulty in their life, the moment they see Malikul Maut, that's it, this happiness will start with them. So Allah subhanahu is saying that the yardstick is not this world. Don't try to measure things according to this world. That look, we are believers and we have a life which is filled with misery. And life, no. Even if you have a difficult life, believe you me, your heart will be at itminan. This is what Allah is saying. That the believer's heart will always be mutmain. It will be filled with tranquility, it will be with peace. He might not have the best foods. He might not have all the comforts at his fingertips. But he will have peace and tranquility in his heart. So Allah is saying that if the Quraysh of Makkah might be thinking, okay, you people have believed in Islam, but what benefit has Islam given you? And we have not believed in Islam, and what harm has it brought to us? Allah is saying, don't worry. This life is not everything. In fact, Inna nahnu nuhil mauta. There will be a day where we will resurrect you, and we will bring everyone to life. وَكُلَّ إِنسَانٍ أَلْزَمْنَاهُ طَائِرَهُ فِي نُوكِهِ وَنُخْرِجُ لَهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ كِتَابًا يَلْقَاهُ مَنْشُورًا. We will bring out a book which will have all your deeds inside. And everything that you have done, it will be open in front of you that day. That day, كَفَى بِنَفْسِكَ الْيَوْمَ عَلَيْكَ حَسِيبًا. That day you will be sufficient to take your own accountability. You will be able to look at your own deeds, and every person, every believer will be able to say, Alhamdulillah, inshallah, will be entered with Jannah for the Allah. And every disbeliever will look at his deeds and he will be doomed. Kafa bi nafsika al-yawma alayka hasiba. That is the real day, when every person will see and he will be able to take accountability of himself. Allah SWT says that they will look at the kitab and say, Mali hadal kitab. What's happened to his book? And whilst we are alive, we have got the farishtas, kiram and katibin, they are writing everything. They are writing everything we do, every ma yalfidhu min qawlin illa ladayhi raqibun atid. You do not utter a single word, never mind an action, a word which is not even visible. مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ, you don't utter a single word, but everything is recorded. There are angels waiting, ready to write everything. So on the day of Qiyamah, Mali Hadil Kitab, they will see this book, which will have everything from the moment they became Balik till the last breath in this world. Everything will be recorded. All the good did and all the evil didn't. So when they will see this Mali Hadil Kitab, what's up with this book? La yughadiru saghiratan wala kabira illa ahsaha. He's not left anything small, minor, trivial, and he's not left anything major, but everything is recorded. That day Allah SWT says, Alimat nafsun ma qaddamat wa akhar. Every nafs will know what he has put forward and what he has left behind. So, in fact, Allah SWT is trying to tell everybody that even the Quraysh of Makkah and everybody, that don't worry, this world is not the end of everything. In fact, you will once again be resurrected and every soul will be taken to account. Every person, whether you are kafir, whether you are believer, non-believer, every person will be taken to trial. And then what happened? وَنَكْتُبُ مَا قَدَّمُوا. Right now we are writing everything you do. Every good you do, every namaz you pray, every bit of zakat you give, your good acts, you've helped somebody, you've built a masjid, you've exercised patience, you showed good akhlaq to somebody, everything is being recorded. وَنَكْتُبُ مَا قَدَّمُوا وَآثَارَهُم. And everything that you leave behind. Everything that you leave behind. Ulama say that what does it mean? That one is that you done something, you prayed namaz. You prayed namaz, so you will get that reward straight away. And one is something that you left behind. What do you leave behind? In the hadith Rasul says that إِذَا مَاتَ إِبْنُ آدَمْ إِنْ قَطَعَ عَنْهُ عَمَلُهُ إِلَّا مِنْ ثَلَاثٍ. When Ibn Adam passes away, the moment you die, everything ceases, everything stops. You can't pray namaz anymore, so all the reward of namaz stops, finish. You can't give zakat, your zakat reward ceases. You can't fast, so the fasting ceases. But three things do not stop. What are they? Number one, sadaqatun jariyah. Whatever sadaqah you give, you gave 10 pounds in the path of Allah. You built a masjid for the sake of Allah. You bought some Qur'ans and you put them in the masjid. So this is ma qaddamu. You built a masjid, you get the reward as soon as you die. You put a Quran, the moment you put the Quran, you get the reward. You gave 10 pounds in charity, you got a well dug, you got a water pump dug. Straight away what happens? You get the reward. But after you die, ma qaddamu wa athar, what's athar? Until the day of Qiyamah, or until the day that people take benefit from that water, until that masjid is standing, until that Quran Sharif is being used and being recited from, what's happening? You are getting continuous reward. So look, your namaz has ceased, but the reciting of the Quran and the reward of the Quran has not ceased. In the same way, so Rasul says that sadaqatun jariyah. Number two, aw ilmun yuntafa'u bihi, or you left some ilm behind. You left some ilm behind. You wrote a kitab, and after you passed away, people are taking benefit from the kitab. So when you wrote the kitab, you got your reward for it. You passed away now. But every time somebody reads that book, your reward is increasing. Every time somebody takes benefit, your reward is increasing. You taught people, you taught students. As long as your students act on and propagate that ilm that you taught them, your reward will continue. And number three, a waladun salih yad'u lahu. Or you left behind pious children that are making dua for you. Because ulama say, why salih, why pious? Because usually it's the pious children that make dua, number one. Which are the children that have gone off track. They don't have time to make their own dua. They don't have time to make their own istighfar. What are they going to make for their parents? But those parents that invested in their own children and give them such a tarbiyat that after they die, these children are praying for their parents. These children are making dua for their parents. This reward will continue. And number two, it says, why pious children? Because usually the pious children's dua are accepted easily. They are accepted quicker than a transgressor's dua. So Rasul said that three things, that when you do, that everything ceases, but these three things will not cease. That's why people are always looking for investments in this dunya. Let me do an investment in Dubai. So after I retire, the money carries on. Let me do an investment here. Let me do an investment there. What's the best investment? All these investments are limited to this dunya. They're only limited till you're alive. And it's not even guaranteed. Sometimes you do an investment and you find out afterwards that that investment was a fraud. And all your money goes. Never mind the investment return, even the capital goes. But this is such an investment that it is kept by who? It is preserved, recorded, and protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This goes direct into a bank of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep rewarding you, keep sending this. And so this is on the good side. That whatever good you do is written, and whatever good, the effects of it will also continue. And on the other side, the same rule applies for even the evil. If you do any evil, if you do any guna, it is written. And any gunas that you left behind, the effects of, even they are written. In your whole family, there was a system and understanding that at wedding times, the men, women separated. There was no music. But you were the first person in your area, in your village, or in your family. You were the first person in your son's wedding, men and women mixed. Music was brought in. Musical instruments were brought in. What have we just done? You have brought in a new thing. And now, because you open doors, now your nephew's doing the same, your brother, he done the same, and it carries on. You'll be doomed even after you die. So Rasulullah said, "Man sanna sunnatan hasanatan, falahu ajruhu wa ajru man amila bihi, min ghayri yunqas min amali shay, min ajri shay." And if somebody brings out, if somebody carries out a good thing, and that good thing is taken by other people, then as long as that good thing is acted upon, this person will get the reward. These people will get their reward without losing anything, and this person will also get reward. But if you implemented, or if you brought in an evil act, you brought in this act of in the weddings, you brought all these new things, men and women mixed. It was never in your family. In your family, people never used to do this. Now every time that wedding, because you open the doors for this in your family, every time your family members or other people in your family do this thing, they bring musical instruments in the wedding. If they have mixed weddings, and you were the core, even after you die, you will get the sin of it. The sin will continue. That's very important that when you do things, we should be very vigilant. What am I doing? Am I leaving behind a good legacy, or am I leaving behind a trail of evil for myself? So anyway, Allah SWT says, وَنَكْتُبُ مَا قَدَّمُوا. We write whatever you send for, whether it's good deeds, وَآثَرُوا, and even the good that you leave behind, the effects that you leave behind. Somebody built a cinema. So as soon as he builds a cinema, he will get the sin for it. And now, until that cinema is working, and until people go to a cinema and watch whatever they have to watch, whether you're in this world or you passed away, you will get the sin for it. And then some say that wa'atharam over here means your footsteps. The footsteps. Athar, another meaning is footsteps. That we will write the good you do, and we will also write the footsteps that you take to do that good. Somebody comes for namaz, so in namaz we will write the good of the namaz, the reward of the namaz. And every step that you took from your house to come to a masjid, you will also write a deed for that. Some say the athar over here means the actual linguistic meaning, and linguistic meanings is that the footsteps, that we write even the footsteps. That's why in the time of Rasulullah there was a clan called Banu Salama, and they used to live a bit far away from Masjid Nabawi. And they were far away, so one day there was a plot of land near Masjid Nabawi which became vacant. So the Banu Salama thought, okay, let's buy this. And let's all move there so we are closer to a masjid. We can go to a masjid quickly. We can come back home quickly. We can sit in the company of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Everything will be easy for us. Rasulullah found this out. And he called him and he said, no. Stay where you are. Why? Diyarakum tuktabu atharakum. Diyarakum tuktabu atharakum. Wherever you are living, from there when you walk to a masjid, and from the masjid when you go back home, for every footstep you are getting rewarded. Don't think that your time is being wasted. Don't think it takes us 10 minutes to get to a masjid. No, that 10 minutes is not waste. For every step you take, you will get rewarded. That's why it is important that if you are living few steps away, then you should try to walk it. And for every step, Allah SWT is giving you a reward. So anyway, this ulama says there's two means. One is the legacy or the things that you leave behind. You'll be rewarded or you'll be sinful for. And some say that for every good deed you do, the steps that you take to do the good deed, you'll also get rewarded on the steps. And in the end, Allah SWT finishes the ayat by saying, وَكُلَّ شِيءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ, that we have enumerated, we have recorded everything in a clear book, in Lawh Mahfuz. Everything is recorded. Whatever insan, Bani Adam, whatever he'll do, everything is recorded. Why is Allah SWT recording this? Not because Allah SWT forgets. Allah SWT never forgets. Allah SWT Alim, He's Hakim, He's Khabir, He knows everything. He's a know everything, He knows everything that's happening. He doesn't need to write it. Why does He write it? Number one, Lawh Mahfuz is written. Number two, Kiraman Katibin also write. Why? Because on the day of Qiyamah it is possible, because insan, wakana insanu jadala, that insan is always arguing, he's always causing a fuss. He's got this habit, he's got this nature, that he will always look for a fight. He will always look for an argument. So on the day of Qiyamah, there will be people that will say to Allah, Ya Allah, we don't accept this. Who says that we done these things? So Lawh Mahfuz, this is your first evidence, witness, that look, Kiraman Katibin, the kitab will be a second one. And even if they still argue, no, we don't believe this. Ya Allah, it's your farishtas. Your farishta wrote, how do I know they wrote the right thing or the wrong thing? How do I know? Bring a third party. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَوْمَ تَشْهَدُ عَلِيهِمْ أَلْسِنَتُهُمْ وَأَيْدِيهِمْ وَأَرْجُلُهُم بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. That day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make يَوْمَ تَشْهَدُ عَلِيهِمْ أَلْسِنَتُهُمْ. The zaban will talk against that person. وَأَيْدِيهِمْ, his hands will talk. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give his hands the power. Just like our tongue is talking today. It's only a piece of flesh. In the same way, on the day of Qiyamah, the hand will talk. That, Ya Allah, yes, this hand did this guna, and this guna, and this guna, and this guna. And the feet will also give witness. Yes, Ya Allah, this foot, this person using me went to this guna. All these will become witness. When they will become witness against him, he will talk to you, he'll turn to you and say, Lima shahidtum alayna. Why are you giving evidence against me for? I'm trying to protect you. I'm only lying so we can go to Jannah. So all these legs and these hands and these tongue will say, Antaqana Allah alladhi antaqa kulla shay. The same being, Antaqana Allah, the same Allah that made me talk, He's making all this talk. So why is it all written for? For our sake. That on day with Qiyamah we can't argue now. We don't have no room to argue. Because it's in Lawh Mahfuz, it's in Kiraman Katibin, and even every limb of ours is witness to what we do. So what's our duty? What's our job? Our job is that we should stay far from sin. All those things that displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, stay far from them. Because on the day of Qiyamah, the same limbs will give evidence against us in the court of Allah. And number two, by chance, if we do guna, kullu bani adam khata'un, we all make guna. What should we do? Should attend to Allah, repent, do tawbah, do istighfar, Allah, please forgive me. When a person does forgive, when he turns for forgiveness, that's clear history. Sometimes when you go on your phone, and what do people do? They do clear history. So nobody finds out, no trails left behind. The same way, do clear history by Allah. It's more important. You turn to Allah, Allah, please forgive me. I made a mistake, I slipped. Allah knows we are humans. Allah knows we are going to make mistakes. Allah likes it when a person turns to man, accepts his mistakes and tawbah. And when you do this, inshallah, slowly, the nafrat and the hate for sin will start to come into our hearts, and the love and the zeal for good will start into our hearts. And when the zeal for good comes into our heart, and the nafrat for sin comes into our heart, then to obey Allah subhanahu will become very easy. Then to pray namaz will become easy. To come to masjid will become easy. To recite the Quran will become easy. Before, to recite the Quran was difficult, was a challenge. Now the same Quran will be our heart attached to it. We think, when can I pray? When do I get some chance? When will these people go? I can start praying the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the correct understanding. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to act upon what we mentioned. Subhanallah, indeed, subhanallah,